Here's something unsettling. The now you're experiencing isn't actually real time. Neuroscience shows that your conscious present is delayed, stitched together from fragments of the past and forecasts of the near future. It feels seamless, but it's an illusion. Scientists call this the specious present. And once you see it, you can test it and use it to shift timelines. Welcome everyone to the simulation frequency. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a deep dive on what the actual illusion of now really is. In the 19th century, philosopher E.R. Clay coined the term specious present, and later psychologist Ernst Pöppel argued that our window of now lasts about 2 to 3 seconds. With that span, events are merged into a single experience. On a smaller scale, neurophysiologists have measured that perception lags. It takes about 80 to 100 milliseconds for visual signals to reach conscious awareness. Sound processing is faster, around 10 to 20 milliseconds for auditory cortex, but integrating vision and sound into one coherent moment requires buffering. David Eagleman's experiments at Baylor showed that the brain often backdates perception, editing the timeline so events appear synchronous even when they're not. This means your brain is editing reality on the fly. Let's talk about some experiments that reveal the illusion. How about Libet's readiness potential from 1983? EEG studies show that the brain's motor cortex begins preparing for movement hundreds of milliseconds before people consciously decide to act. Conscious will lags behind neural activity. And then there's the flash lag effect. A moving object and a flashing object appear misaligned because the brain predicts the motion forward in time. And color-phi phenomena? Two differently colored lights flashing in succession create the illusion of a single moving light that changes color mid-flight, proof that perception is constructed retroactively. And then there's backward masking. If one image quickly follows another, the second can erase the first from awareness, meaning consciousness doesn't simply record input, it edits it. These are the cracks in the illusion of the continuous now. If you only lived in raw input, the world would feel so stuttered and late. So your brain cheats by buffering the past, holding inputs up to a half a second before releasing them into consciousness, and predicting the future using prior experience to guess what comes next. This is called predictive coding. And backdating awareness. Sometimes the brain waits to see how things unfold and then edits perception as you knew it all along. The result? A smooth continuous now that's actually a render of yesterday's echo and tomorrow's guesses. So what would this mean for timeline shifting? If your conscious present is a constructed buffer, then it's programmable. The past side of the buffer, the memories and loops allow you to replay. The future side, the predictions and images you seed. By training awareness, you can bias the stitching process. The now you experience can tilt towards scarcity or abundance, dread or curiosity, depending on which you feed into the buffer. So we can test this in daily life. With things like reaction time games, you'll notice you're always about 200 milliseconds late. That lag is your buffer. And then there's things like beat anticipation. When you tap along with music, when the rhythm breaks, you'll feel your predictive system collapse. And then we all know about meditation and breath. Sit quietly and notice micro delays. The thought arises after the feeling. You're watching the stitching in action. Every test shows the same thing. The present is edited. So let's talk about some practices to reseed the present. Let's disrupt and replace. Interrupt negative loops before they sink into the buffer, which would be your subconscious. Replace that with intentional imagery. Use visualization to see the prediction side with the reality you want. Think of it like preloading the next frame in a video game. And then there's introspective training. Practices like heartbeat awareness or HRV breathing amplify bottom-up signals, reshaping what the cortex includes in the buffer. And when you meditate, it slows the stitching cycle. making you more aware of micro frames and easier to redirect. Imagine you wake up with dread. That feeling wasn't a thought. It was a subcortical impulse from the amygdala and body signals stitched into the buffer before you could think. But if you pause, breathe, visualize gratitude, and feel it, the cortex reseeds the next frame. Within seconds, your buffer rebuilds a calmer prediction. That shift cascades forward, and you've shifted timelines. So the continuous now is an illusion. You are not living on the razor's edge of time. You're inhabiting a half-second render, part memory, part forecast, edited for stability. But illusions can be hacked. Test it, catch it, and then seed it with the reality you want. Because once you realize your now is programmable, you stop being a passenger and start being the shaper of timelines. Welcome to this meditation. What you see and feel as now is always slightly delayed, about a half a second behind reality. Your brain stitches together past signals into the illusion of a continuous present. In this practice, we'll use breath, visualization, and gentle eye movements to sense that delay and slip through it into the deeper present that underlies the simulation. Find a comfortable seat or lie down. Relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, and let your breath slow down naturally. Your only job is to stay open and curious. We'll use 3 eye positions during this meditation. The upward gaze, where your eyes gently turn towards your forehead. This evokes trance and helps you sense the space behind time. It's an essential part of this meditation. There's also slow side-to-side scanning, moving your eyes gently left to right, like reading across a ticker tape. This mimics the brain's natural scanning during REM sleep and helps you feel the stitching of reality. And then last, there's stillness with eyes closed, where your eyes softly are closed, pointing slightly upward, resting in timeless awareness. If at any point your eyes feel tired, simply rest them and keep following the visualization. And use slow, steady breaths. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a moment, and exhale for a count of 6. The longer exhale calms the nervous system and deepens the experience. Now that you're in the positions, the breath, and the intention, let's begin. Close your eyes or keep them half-lidded. Notice this. What you think is happening right now has already happened. Your brain is replaying the world from a fraction of a second ago. Imagine a film reel running just behind the projector light. Each frame flickers past, and your brain stitches them into a seamless movie. You're never in the true present. You're always watching a memory. Gently roll your eyes upward and hold, like you're looking through your forehead. This position helps evoke the sensation of stepping behind the stitched frame. Now imagine that delay stretching. Half a second, 1 second. The world you see is already past. You are the witness behind the witness, watching it unfold. Let your eyes drift left to right slowly, as though scanning through an old ticker tape. Feel the lag of perception, like your eyes are chasing something that already happened. Now, imagine stepping between the frames of the film. Behind the stitch delay, there is a stillness, the true present. Here, time doesn't lag, it just is. Now, close your eyes fully. Let your eyes rest still and heavy, pointing slightly upward. Breathe into that timeless space and sense yourself touching the simulation as it's being written. Take a breath. Remember, the lag is not a weakness, it's a doorway. And when you slip in between frames, you discover that you're not trapped in the movie. You are the one running the projector.